InuYasha! Look over! InuYasha! Sit, boy!
Better improved episode from the first one. Props! Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha V-Logs. And today we're taking, surprisingly enough, a look at a two-parter. This is the first time we've actually done a story arc in a while, and that, of course, being the Sacred Jewel Maker arc. This is a two-part event. It is kind of filler-ish, but it does something interesting with it, and I went in expecting nothing, but came out with kind of something. Alright, so what's the story this time? So of course, our heroes are still in search of Naraku, as always. Naraku has disappeared, demons are scattered all over the land, as we have established, but we come across this priest who has been basically kind of looking around the lands and researching the ancient sacred jewel of four souls. And what's really great about this two-parter is actually it does kind of recap where we've been since the first few episodes. We go back to Midoriko for a little bit and how, you know, she was the one who created the sacred jewel through a big battle. We go back to when Kagome had actually shattered the jewel with her bow from that three-eyed raven demon thing, which was really cool. And there's also a lot of other demons and monsters that actually do make comebacks from previous seasons, which I really liked. So we kind of get a recap so people can catch up who are just starting the show, although if you're starting at the fourth season, you're a little behind. So basically, we come across this priest guy who's trying to do research on the jewel, and we get a recap of the origins and everything. And during that time, we find out that there is apparently a forged jewel, like a fake jewel, a fake sacred jewel. You are a fake jewel, you're fake news. I couldn't resist. But anyway, so we find out there is a fake. There is a forgery out there that's been messing around with all the demons scattered left over from Naraku and are being taken advantage of. And during that time, this priest kind of has been accompanying our heroes. He seems relatively nice, and obviously there are demons to battle. There is a demon that has a giant like kind of club with jewels in them, like little, it looks kind of weird and phallic looking, but one thing leads to another. Kagome is kidnapped by the demons, and basically the demons want to create a new sacred jewel. And the reason for that is because the old one is too corrupt, it's too malice, and it's too toxic, so they want something new that can kind of balance it out, so that way there is no evil or good, essentially. Though what happens is that the consequences of that is that if you forge another jewel like the sacred one, it is bound to be either a complete waste of time, the same amount of power, or even worse. So that's kind of our setup. And I kind of like the fact that this episode, this two-parter, it reminded me a lot of an episode of Batman the Animated Series. And what I mean by that is that it kind of takes a villain in your episode, and by the end of it, you feel really sympathetic for this character, because not only is it kind of like you realize the desperation that this character is going through to try to get to a normal stage in life, but is also, you know, he can't escape his destiny. He's trying to, like, forge his own. He is trying to be his own, but the society and the world around him won't allow it to. Now, obviously, nobody wants control. Nobody wants their destiny, you know, prophesized or told ahead of time, because spoilers, you know, you want to play every day, you know, as is and by your own free will, but this episode kind of establishes that in this universe, some destinies cannot be mended. And it's kind of challenging in a way. But the reason I bring up Batman in the Animated Series, it reminds me a lot of one of my favorite episodes, Baby Doll, where this character who wants to escape being deformed and abnormal and wants to be normal. She wants to be human. She wants to be like a normal person walking around society. And then we have this character who, okay, so spoilers on this one, the priest turns out to be a half-demon. And the reason he wants to forge a new jewel is to make a wish, like the original, in order to become fully human so he can be accepted in society. And, you know, because beauty standards are still a thing today, which really sucks. So, basically, it does end where he dies because he couldn't take the power, but the characters do try to reason with him and saying, this isn't the way, you can do better for yourself, you can do this, and he's so stubborn with his demon form he can't do it. And what I love is he's kind of like a werewolf, where he's kind of like, daytime he's human, nighttime he's this demon form, so it's kind of like a werewolf, which is cool. So, basically, you know, he obviously dies from it, and it's really sad and tragic. Even though I don't like the ending, I think it kind of abruptly ends, which makes no goddamn sense. But what happens is that he, you know, it's sort of not only a whole thing about be careful what you wish for, Parker, in terms of just using the jewel's power, but it almost acts as sort of a symbolism or a mirror image of what InuYasha is going to become, or could become. Because if you remember, his wish is to get the jewel to become a full-fledged demon, but lately he's been having second thoughts about it. And even in this episode, I really like when he fights the monk demon werewolf thing. He's trying to reason with him. He's trying to say, like, you know, like, because basically the demon's telling him, I want to be human, I want to be normal, I don't like being a half-demon, I'm going to use this power to fulfill good and make myself human so I can be accepted. And InuYasha just tells him, you ever thought to just deal with it? And that's kind of a strong message to give to your audience, is that even if you're not the perfect human being in terms of how you look, if your heart's in the right place, that's fantastic. But if you're not the perfect human being in terms of looks, it's like, just accept it. Just deal with it. People will come around and they don't care about what's here. They care about what's in here, your heart. And I like how this episode does bring that up, because it is one of the major themes of the show, is prejudice and, you know, accepting people who they are, not for how they look. And there's a lot of that in this show, but I liked how it was kind of brought to the forefront. And it ends in sort of this tragedy. And I love it. I love storylines that end in tragedy, and that's why Batman the Animated Series, it's one of my favorite TV shows, especially when I was a kid. They're very challenging, and this episode was very challenging as a thematic element, so I really dug the hell out of this. The last few episodes have just sucked so goddamn hard. They haven't been interesting, and this one surprisingly interested me, and kind of left me on a good note. And it's interesting too, because, again, going back to callbacks from the previous episode, one of the demons is the frog demon, and it was like, remember the episode, I think it was like episode, I want to say 5, 6, or 7, with that toad demon, the toad who would be Prince. Well, apparently there's more toad demons out there, so when I saw that guy, I'm like, Froggy's back! Yay! Kermit the Frog! It was so cool. I was like, okay, you know what? That's an example of reusing demon designs that aren't just a centipede, the demon with horns. Like, they've been running out of concepts and ideas for creatures and monsters, and this one kind of said, okay, well, let's just bring back the frog. I'm like, yes! Froggy's back! It's not the same frog, but it's still the same kind of demon creature species, which I thought was really cool. So, yeah, I really liked this two-parter. I was pleasantly surprised, especially going in with little expectations, because that's how bad this season was, especially last week's episode. That was pointless. We saw this a billion times. But this one was a good jump back, and I really enjoyed it. And actually, I am kind of looking forward to next week, or the next episode, because it does deal with a great character in the show, and we kind of see where they've been for the little while. So things are starting to pick up. Much like the pandemic, we've been through a bit of shit this year, but it is better than last year, and we are kind of picking ourselves back up. So that's nice to see. So I really like this episode. I'm going to give it a good, probably a good, like, 7.5 out of 10. This was pretty solid. It did kind of subvert my low expectations and made them a bit brighter. So, really enjoyed it. Check this one out. This one's actually worth watching in Season 4. So again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. Don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you access to all of our content, as well as other special features, and all the funds will be going towards our show and a potential InuYasha fan film. Of course, let me know your thoughts on the Sacred Jewel Maker two-parter in the comments section below. And join me next time when we take a look at an episode that involves another froggy character, but is one of my favorite characters in the show, and we get to see sort of an episode with him. I don't think we've really gotten an episode with him, so let's look forward to that. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying, don't forge shit because you think you'll be normalized, because that'll just leave you in a lot more trouble. And you might die after becoming a were-demon thing. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to next time, so until then, take care.